Okay, I'm here today to talk about a comedy film from the year 2000. And let me tell you, when we start getting into the 2000s and 2010s and 20s, I am not really a fan of many movies. But I did go to see this movie in the theater back in the year 2000, and I loved it. And it's the comedy called Meet the Parents. And on there on the cover, we have Robert De Niro doing his later life comedy things. And also we have Ben Stiller. Yeah, I really like this movie a lot. So much so that I wound up adding it to my library and now on Blu-ray. And for those who haven't seen it, it has, of course, Robert De Niro doing his kind of like funny shtick. I mean, he did comedies before. I mean, I love The King of Comedy from 1983, which, has him in a kind of comedic role, even though it's kind of, in a way, like a dark comedy, kind of serious too. It's a character study and stuff. But I still look at it loosely as a comedy. That was a Martin Scorsese film that I love. But here, De Niro does a great job in here. The cast itself is quite good. You have, as I said, Ben Stiller, and we have Terry Polo. I'll get to her in a minute. And also featured in here are other actors like Blythe Danner. Blythe Danner plays the mom. And James, I never had, it's hard when you do movie reviews and you want to say the names right, James Rebhorn, John Abrahams, Owen Wilson. Very good, and directed by Jay Roach. Well, the idea is a situation that a lot of people can relate to, I think, especially if you have been married or if you're going to get married. That is that you have to meet the folks. At some point, you're going to meet the folks of your girlfriend or boyfriend, your partner. You're going to be going and checking it out and seeing what they're like. They have to approve of you and stuff. You want to win their approval. So in this movie, Ben Stiller wants to be engaged to the very pretty, in my opinion, Terry Polo. I'm going to say a little bit about her. She is just really pretty. And to me, she's kind of attractive in the way that, you may not say she's the first thing you consider putting in a, say, Cosmopolitan magazine, although I think she's kind of a little on the kind of plainer side too, but yet she's still so beautiful. So I really like watching this just to look at her, to tell you the truth. But anyway, Ben Stiller wants to ask her to marry him, and he's got a really, really terrible last name in Ben Stiller's character. Last name being Focker, F-O-C-K-E-R, Greg Focker. And later on you find out that his name is actually Gaylord, so Gaylord Focker. So it's something that he has to deal with in his life. And he's a male nurse, and he wants to marry this girl and seek the approval of her parents, in particular her father, Jack Burns, played by De Niro. And Jack Burns, the character, I really love this character, and I really think that Robert De Niro does such a good job. He's generally a nice guy, but he's very tough, a little on the militant side, though, because he is a retiree from the CIA. He worked for the CIA, and one of the things he did, as you can see on the cover, is he would have lie detectors, and he would try to screen people and stuff. And he's still, even though he's retired, he kind of runs his life and his family as if he's still in the CIA, which can be a little overbearing at times, despite his genuinely nice nature, And as it gets to the point where Focker is kind of meeting this guy, they get off on the wrong foot almost from the beginning. And despite his best efforts, Focker keeps making all these mistakes. He just does a lot of things, complete disasters, one disaster after another. And they're in a situation, as they go to visit them at their home and stay there, that Terry Polo's younger sister is going to be getting married. So they have to go, and they're going to be in the wedding party, and they're going to go through the wedding rehearsal and picking out tuxedos and the whole bit that you do when you're going to have an event like that, and the dinner, the rehearsal dinner and all this. And you know, he really wants to fit into the so-called family circle, the circle of trust, actually, as Jack Burns calls it. But man, this poor Greg Focker, man, he just has a cloud over his head and just finds himself in one crazy predicament after another. Some of them his own making, some of them because of his own misjudgments and things, but a lot of them he's not even to blame for a lot of these things that happen. Just bad luck and stuff like that. And I just really love the comedy situations in here. I don't, you know, Blythe Danner makes the perfect wife for Jack Burns. You know, it's funny how when you get older yourself, these people don't seem so old. I remember going to see this in the movies in 2000, and I thought, wow, you know, De Niro's getting old, and Blythe Danner is also getting old, you know, as the wife. And now I saw it last night again on Blu-ray, and I'm thinking, she doesn't look so bad, and neither does De Niro. They're only in their 50s, you know. They're not, you know, it's just that when you're 30, you see people in their 50s, you think they're really old, and when you get to be in your 50s, they're not so old looking on it. But yeah, I mean, Owen Wilson has a kind of smaller role in here. He's really terrific as the fiance who almost married Greg Focker's girl. You know, he's like the competition in a way, and you know, Greg Focker's a little jealous of him, and yeah, so many good situations. I don't want to spoil them all. But comedy is very subjective. What's funny to you may not be funny to me, and vice versa. But boy, I'm always happy when I could find a movie that was made after the 1990s, or I can say, you know, I actually like that movie, and this is one of them. You know, it's a go-to. So I really highly recommend this, depending on your sense of humor. You know, you may not think it's the funniest thing you ever saw. I thought it was. I think it's very funny. The kind of tension between these two characters and what they have to endure. Well, you know, they're trying to be, you know, father and son-in-law, father-in-law, and it may not work out so well, you know. But it's also got an ending, which I won't spoil, but the ending's really nice in this too. But there were a couple of sequels that came along to this. After Meet the Parents, we got the sequel, Meet the Fockers, where the shoe was on the other foot. And now you got to see, being introduced to Greg's parents. And I'll get to that at a later time. I saw that in the movie theaters when it came out. The only thing I would say about it, without doing a full review on it now, is that it's not as good as the first one. And then the third one was when they have children. The third one is called Little Fockers. It's about the kids when they have to be parents themselves. And that's even less good. That's easily the least of the trilogy. But I'm going to watch them all. I think I'm in the mood for some Focker stuff. So, yeah, I expect you to maybe check this out. And I'll be watching, definitely, You. Okay?